Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the after show for the 34th and last issue of the Powers That Be Season's End. We did it! We did it! An actual entire streamed
Yay!
campaign! For the first time, I think that any of us have done a streamed campaign online. This has been awesome. Um, I am so happy at how this worked out, and I'm so happy that uh, the five other people here on the screen and anyone who might actually be watching this uh, has come along on this journey with us. Um, it's been a hell of a lot of fun. I've learned a lot um, about streaming and about gaming while streaming. So hopefully I'll be able to put a little bit of that into practice. But we're gonna go around. We're gonna do stars. We already did a little bit of wishes, I think, with the with the flash forward. But just anything else that you want to say, uh, anything else that you want to mention, um, and we're gonna go. We're gonna go with Patrick first
Mm.
because we
All
can.
right. So stars to everybody for really pushing their characters up to that next level and following the story all the way to the end. I know it's very difficult to keep things together for such a long period of time, and I'm very happy with how things turned out. And the biggest stars, though, are for how everybody had developed their characters over time. That I am just delighted that everybody progressed from where they started to somewhere else at the end and really showed a lot more character development than you see in many shows and movies made by people who get paid a whole ton of money to do such. So I was really happy with that. And an extra special star to Ray, who has made massive progress in this being what your second role-playing game that you've been in.
Second, serious, yeah. I mean, if you want to, yeah. I
So
dabbled barely. Friend of mine
definitely the
helped me
longest
out,
of
but it
them.
was this is yeah,
And you
second
really
serious
took
campaign.
the bulls by the horn with this, and the cowgirl by the horns too. But um, and made a lot of progress in learning how to make the system operate and how to use that in order to tell your part of the story. So I'm very happy with that, and I'm greatly looking forward to how things go in our next game. When, of course, I get to step into a different role as a character, which will be delightful not having to write up so much goddamn stuff every damn week. So that's a joy. Good luck with that, Trevor.
Thanks.
But yeah, so kudos to everybody also. It's been a great game. It's not often I've been able to run a game all the way to its completion, so I'm very happy about that. And of course, we have plenty of great ideas for the next time we want to revisit that world.
For those of you out there, we have been tossing around in our various chats and whatnot. I think we've got I think we've got this this stream set out to what I think it was session 8. And at least 2 or 3 of them are coming back to the world of Excelsior. Which is this is just I mean this is such a fun playground. And I'm gonna take the opportunity and go next because I usually go right before Patrick at the end. Um, I mean, obviously, a sky full of stars to Patrick for giving us this world to play in, and giving us the story to investigate, um, and stars to everyone for taking that and I mean really making it ours. Uh, this would have been, I think, a far different, even if the basic story structure, beginning, middle, end kind of thing had been the same, this would have been a much different story and I think a much different feel of the entire world if we had not been playing the characters that we were playing. And I think part of that also goes back, Patrick, to what you were saying about developing everyone developing their characters along the way. Um, I had so much fun uh, interacting with each and every one of you, um, both player to player, character to character, and in some cases one to the other. Um, so yeah, stars to just everyone for this crazy ride that we've been on. And preemptive star to everyone else because I think we have more backstory and rewritten fiction and everything else in the world for Echoes of the Undying than I have ever seen in any campaign before. And so my problem right now is not finding enough. Not that I'm not finding enough stuff to stitch together for a story, but I've got too much. And I'm having to, like, pick and choose and kind of grimace and say, well, I'm going to have to change a little bit of that in order to make all this stuff work together. Um, but no, you guys, I am so happy that we have had this gaming group, and I'm so looking forward to see where we go next. And I'll just keep going around the screen to ECAT.
First and foremost, the stars have to go to Patrick for creating this world that we got to play in for the last 2 years. Because without that, Crash, Jack, Gene, Pa, Ice wouldn't be who they became without him. And I thank you for letting us play in your mind for a little bit. And stars to everybody, because as the previous two said, the watching our characters grow. Even Jack, who came in partway through the campaign, the development that we all did was not forced. It felt very organic and real. And I'm going to miss these guys.
Yep.
But I'm looking forward to now messing with Trevor's head.
Yep.
All right. So I've been going back trying to find. So our first session that I have on the calendar for this was June 13th, 2022. The first video, the video of the first episode, went up on YouTube in November of 22, and I closed the window, so I lost the date. And I can't get back that far in Twitch. So yeah, pretty close to 2 years for this, which is a good run for any campaign. All right, let's go to Ray next.
So, yes, broken record. What stands out for me is the stars. What I see as the stars is so much of the relationships. There's character development, but there's that just within the whole dynamic when you have 5 very different characters in such a dynamic universe with so many different elements in play at any given time. And yeah, so this is my very first campaign, from character creation to we finished our arcs in the same episode. And like, looking back on that, it took a while to find our legs, to figure out who we were going to be and how we were going to play different things. And we had ideas and we put forth personas, but those developed. Every single character developed. It's like Neve and Jack became the 1-2, like, y'all became a team. Y'all became a team within the team. And then Pa, you were just muscle, but also dealing with your own family issues. And Crash, as a speedster, also just going between different characters however he wanted to, and that your relation, how you dealt with the characters was true to your character, like the actual speedster, and it was never, you never formed, like there was a time a little bit early on where it was kind of like, Crash and Gene giving each other shit and stuff,
Yeah.
but that evolved. And yes, Patrick, you're absolutely a genius. You listened. That was sometimes the stuff that we didn't want you to listen to, but you listened. And yes, it was a blast. I got a lot out of being able to realize that character. And I will give you the wish, Patrick, that I couldn't articulate, I think 3 episodes ago. I wish you would have pushed Gene harder with Obey. I wish that carrot was juicier and tastier, and that you really wanted. Everything worked out and I liked it, and but I'm curious. It's like the one regret. It's like, what would it have taken to really make Gene question and go back? So it's okay that we leave that unanswered, but like that's where I was going, is like, let's push these characters. What makes it fun? The fun is going into these nooks and crevices and really seeing what we can do with these characters and with each other within that universe. So that was an unadulterated blast, and I appreciate all of you for your contributions and support whenever I felt like I needed it, because I still felt like a noob. I guess I can't say that anymore.
Nope.
Nope.
You're a seasoned veteran now.
Yep.
Woohoo!
Okay, Julie.
So, unlike everybody else, because I'm married to the GM, I played in his games for years. And vice versa, when I GM'd, back in the day with our old gaming group and all that. So I always had kind of an interesting perspective of things that he had done in the past. And shared experiences that we had with other players and everything. And so he kind of, knew some of the things that really, really tick me off. Like one of my big things is lack of agency. I've had a couple friends who I love dearly, but they did some things as GMs that really, really annoyed me, where they basically made decisions and things happened to my character without me being able to go, or wait a second, or things happening off camera. And I really appreciate the fact that Patrick was never heavy-handed with anything that we did. He never dictated to us. Nothing ever happened off camera that was, pardon the pun, that was, this important thing that you've been working for all this time happened, but you didn't actually get to play the scenario out. And that was, I think, a huge thing into really allowing us to grow with the characters, because we were allowed to grow and change and make some mistakes, and and to roll with it and to figure out who the characters were as they rolled along. Because Pa started off literally as a bouncer, not thinking about things, because it was stock the shelves, and run the register during the day and kick people out of clubs at night. And by the end, she was doing diplomatic work between her family and the Scions to get them to actually work together, and stopping and thinking and coming up with tactics, both for her own actions in combat and with working with other people. So
All right, and to Matt.
And to me, last one in. Where to start with this whole thing? I first, want to give everybody stars for giving me a chance here because, it was coming in as a, I knew most of you. I think Ray and Trevor, like I had seen you at events, but I don't think we had ever really interacted before.
Yeah.
So,
I think a
it
little
was
bit in
kind of,
Kaminari camp, but that's about it.
yeah. So it was a bit of an unknown. And, I was coming into an established group with people and, finding out at the last minute, oh shit, this is going to be recorded. Like,
Sorry.
oops. No, it's fine, Trevor. So it I want to thank you all for giving me this opportunity. Um, you know, Trevor said at the beginning about, this being a pretty momentous thing of, completing a campaign that's on the air in 2 years. And I'm 50. I've been gaming since 7 or 8, I think is my first go round with the D&D red box.
Yep.
With the polyhedro dice that came with a crayon that you had to color in the numbers.
Killing me with
And
nostalgia, man. Seriously.
yeah, and I don't think in all that time I have ever been in a group that actually finished a campaign.
Yeah.
Finished a story arc. They when you grow up as an adult gamer, schedules fall apart and people drift. So that was, the fact that we held together. And I think we all, both our characters grew, but we also grew as people. I learned, and I'm still learning how to be a performer on camera and just ignore this little light in front of me that's saying who knows out there is listening to me natter on. But Ray, this is your second game, and wow, that's you come a long way. And mad skills, mad props, brother.
Thank you.
This, as you can see from my little monologue here, this isn't the norm. you know, um, Even with close friends gaming, it's a rare thing to get a group this tight and this on track. It's a broken record at this point, but the stars were right with Patrick, for um and just creating this mad world for us to play in. And you know yeah, it's an impressive, again, you know plate spinning trick of just allowing us the freedom to sandbox, but also having a through line that of story. um because Monster of the Week is great, but if there isn't an actual story that we're going along, it, you know, don't get anywhere. Um, so thank you all for bringing me along with this on this journey. And I can't wait to see what happens next.
So I have one in mind, but I will throw it out. And I'm sorry for kind of surprising you with this, but it just occurred to me. Anyone have any favorite scenes that like particularly stick out in your head?
Scenes?
For me, the one that really sticks out to me is the aftermath of Patrick throwing Neva's parents at Crash and Neva basically having a breakdown in Sunbucks and Jean talking her out of it, getting her through the panic attack, was just, that one really sticks out in my mind.
So yeah, mine is and again, it's Crash and Jean, because Jean just stole the show through most of the show. The moment of, you taught me how to be a hero, don't turn into a villain, when you were on the edge. I knew that's where it was heading, and I kind of had that idea scripted out for where I wanted to go. But that was such a cool scene to be able to play, and that was really like one of the deepest character development moments I think I've had in also my 40 years of gaming. Yeah. So no, that was a particularly special treat for me to be able to do that. So thank you for that.
I'm trying to remember those scenes, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? A lot's happened.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, so much has. I think the one that sticks out isn't necessarily the one with the most emotional impact, which, again, plenty of them, and a lot of them with Ray, because he really did become the emotional heart of the story and of the team. So, but the thing that immediately comes to mind is the Seagull King, when we're on at the beginning, when we're on the college campus, and we all just sort of like go into this shtick of, and everybody sort of went along with it. Like, we were all playing along with the parents, which turned out to be Jean and Jack, taking their kids to like college orientation, and everybody ran with it, and it was hilarious and so much fun, and like effortless, because at that point we had all sort of inhabited our characters enough that we could do that. So that sort of moment of all of us sharing in that, yes, it was goofy, yes, it was silly, but it was fantastic.
Go back and find that scene again. I'd forgotten.
Mhm.
For reminding me, I'd forgotten how good that was.
I really loved the first time that Pa took everybody to the Adam family compound, and Grendel comes out of nowhere, and next thing we know, poor Jean is being hung, up by his ankles midair, and we got, but because I mean, it was hysterical. Just
Neva's making tamales with abuela.
Exactly, but that moment of levity also went, opened up to get a whole bunch of Gene's backstory with his previous team. So it was like, it was funny, but it was also led, to something really good that, explained why Gene is the way he is now.
Mm.
And of course, all of the moments, at Sunbucks, drinking our coffee, and the sheer amount of sugar that Pa ate. As much as I love sweets, I have a horrible sweet tooth. I don't think I could actually survive eating, that many, cookies and muffins and what have you.
Wilford Brimley would definitely
Diabetes. Yeah.
All right, Patrick, Anything for you, as much as
I
it may feel
think-
like I'm asking you to choose between your children?
It is. I think the one that keeps coming to mind, perhaps because I spent so much time on the damn map for the thing, was when you went after the Memento Mori compound. Because we had a lot of it was fairly early in the grand scheme of things, where you encountered a bunch of fun things like how do you fight another a proper supervillain who at that time was Matrix. How does you start off by sneaking around, you end up with a gigantic fight, you have this big dramatic moment with Crash deciding that does he tear off and just say fuck these guys, or does he come back and try to save the day. And of course, perhaps my favorite part is the glitter that you all got from Matrix's canon
Yeah.
or still haunting all of you. And especially the fact that you borrowed a friend's Subaru to drive down there and drove back, and the thing is full of all sorts of glitter and stuff, as well as, of course, the Humvee that you all stole because
And well,
not.
and the gore that is just, yeah, because that whole glitter cannon thing, just that made a huge mess on multiple levels.
I also stole a mechanical puppy dog.
You did.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
And that was all before my time, too.
Yeah.
Yep. This was the hijinks before we got you in the mix.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Anyone have anything else they want to bring up before we put this story to bed, at least for the time being? All right. If by any chance there is anyone watching this who has been curious about role-playing games but never gotten a chance to try one, first of all, thank you for coming along on our Wacky's journey. This is what it is. It's cooperative storytelling, and I have to say that thanks to these five, I honestly think this was an example of storytelling, cooperative storytelling at or nearly at its finest. And that's thanks to the other five people that are around me here. Give it a shot. Most of your local libraries will have D&D meetings. I've run a couple of sessions at my local library for teens during the summer. Give it a try. Keep watching stuff like this. Get ideas. Get some friends. You don't need a system as still relatively crunchy as Cypher is. There are a lot of really easy systems out there, really rules light systems. Give it a try. You will never know how much you can embody and bring a character to life until you do something like this. The more you know. So with that, I think we're going to get out of here. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks, God willing, and the COVID rate don't rise, for the first episode of Echoes of the Undying, by which I hopefully will have a name for the world by then, because that's been very low on the priority list. But in the meantime, for Patrick, ECAT, Matt, Julie, and Ray, I am Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple. Good night, everyone.